go. Welcome back to another episode of the MVP Fantasy Football and Sports Podcast. My name is Tyler Johnson, and with me, as usual, Ryan Elke. Ryan, how you doing? I know you're probably looking forward to this 4th of July weekend. I mean, me and you spend it every year camping, and I don't think this year's ever gonna change anytime soon.
I'm doing great. I'm just looking to let loose over the weekend, have some beers, chill by fire, and enjoy the fireworks and all that stuff. Get away from the real world.
Yeah, in 4th of July weekend, I mean, how long have we been going out camping? I would have to say 10 plus
16?
years.
No, it's been 16 plus, dude. We were like 13 years old, 12 years old.
16 plus. And
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people love going camping during 4th of July. A lot of people like going to parades. So everyone just be safe out there. Make sure that you take your little ones out to go watch the fireworks. Ear protection, I know that's a big thing. So 4th of July weekend, drinking beers, playing some
watching
cornhole.
Fireworks, playing. Yep, it's all good stuff.
And another big thing that happened over this past week is the NBA. NBA, a lot of crazy transactions going on, but us as Bucks fans, we're a little depressed over here. We didn't expect
Sad.
Middleton to get a max deal, and that's
I kind of did expect it though, because that's like a Milwaukee Bucks move, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So NBA is fun to watch. It's fun to see all these transactions taking place, and it's also fun to watch the Knicks just sit there doing nothing, going into another bad year.
What if you're a Knicks fan and you're like, oh, we're getting Kyrie and Durant, and then they get Julius Randle and a bunch of scrubs? It's like, damn.
I mean, seriously, you're sitting there, and it's such a big market, and you have all these guys that are just... You have like a B team going out and playing in the NBA.
Yeah, so they're literally just overpaying like tier 3 players just because they had the money to do so. I don't know. Honestly, like the NBA offseason is more interesting than the whole season combined, in my opinion. Like, it's just crazy. I love it.
So, like we said last week, we're going to be getting into our Dynasty league that we just created over the last 2 weeks. I know we've been talking about doing a Dynasty league for a while, and with the help of Jordan, me, you, we created a really good group of 10 people here. Our Dynasty League was put together within a couple of weeks, and we kind of want to just share a lot of that experience with you, the viewers, anybody who's out there that's going into a new Dynasty League, a new redraft league. We're here to kind of break down what we see. We're going to do a mock draft as well at the end. So as we're done talking about the points through this Dynasty experience, we're going to do a mock draft, and we have a buddy with us, Frank. I think he's drafting pretty close to the top of the draft board.
He's at the 2 spot where he got picked to draft, so this will be really interesting.
So he's at the 2, I'm at the 7, and Ryan's at the 10. 10-team person Dynasty startup. So let's kind of jump right in. The league name, we chose the MVP Dynasty League for our startup, and it's kind of funny because both of our divisions...
Keeping it simple, my man. Keeping it simple.
Our divisions are pretty funny. Ryan came up with them. Pros versus Joes. So we have Division 1 with the pros, everyone who's played in Dynasty before, and then we have the second division of 5 people who are the Joes, everyone who hasn't played in a Dynasty League but wanted to. I think we have a great group of guys, and going into next season... we would be able to change it however we wanted to, but I think this is a really good way to start off the league, putting kind of the veterans and the newcomers in 2 separate squads. What do you think about that, Ryan?
It's cool that we came up with that way for divisions, and it's just what sucks about it for me is that I'm in the Joe's division. I feel like the little brother, which sucks because I feel like I'm a pretty good fantasy player, and just I got no experience with it, and it's cool that we actually came up with this league. But the pros, they all have experience, and it's actually a challenge, and I'm up for it, and I'm sure you are, so we can kind of dethrone them and show them that we're not the little brother. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of an interesting take on it.
Yeah, and we're really new to Dynasty. I mean, this is my first league. This is Ryan's first league going into Dynasty. I mean, I played the Keeper League, but it's nothing like having the same team over the years, drafting rookies, trading multiple draft picks for future draft picks, and I think it's going to be really exciting to have something to do on the offseason. I heard a lot of people who talk about how Dynasty Leagues are, once they got into one and their first one, it was like the best league that they're in. So I look forward to that. I look forward to the guys that we have in this league, and possibly, who knows, in the future, doing more than just one Dynasty League. I think maybe doing a couple.
I definitely want to do at least 2, in the future, and that's something that will come up. And the next one, I definitely want it to be as many like vets as possible, just to test your skills.
Get some pros together that know what they're doing and can kind of test your limits. So our Dynasty League, the roster we're doing for the first year and first probably few years is going to be the 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 2 flex. We got rid of the defense and defensive players
for this year. Yeah, for this year. See that we can put that up to vote though next offseason, like right before the season starts, and see where everyone's at on that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
because you can always add them.
And I also like the fact too that defensive players are kind of hard, especially for anybody that's new getting into. And that's kind of our reason why we took them out, is getting into Dynasty. Defensive players is also another thing you have to think about on top of your Dynasty draft and Dynasty players for offense. And then also picking just a full defense, it fluctuates so much that I feel like only in standard that you can, like a standard or a PPR, where you can use that full defense and then you can switch it out whenever you want. In Dynasty, I mean, 32 teams, you could stash a couple and then there's just kind of trash. And if your defense is bad or it gets bad over the next couple of years, it's going to be hard. You're just kind of
stuck because the rosters are so deep with Dynasty drafts that people could literally take 3 or 4.
Exactly.
And then how many other people are going to take 3 or 4 and just to try to hit on a defense, and then they drop the trash and then you don't really have anything.
Yeah, and unlike
in my opinion, that's just where it is. It's like there's no point right now to have that.
Yeah, and unlike new defenses or like new players coming in, rookies, there's no new defenses coming in. So really, you keep what you have year over year. It doesn't make sense. So defensive players is possibly the future for our league.
Yeah. Another thing for the future, though, that we missed on when we were talking about how many teams, obviously we have 10. We talked about 12, and we kept it at 10. Possibly having an expansion draft and getting 2 more teams in, which I think would be pretty cool to implement. And you would have to, because we're transferring the league to Yahoo, so it would be 29 total spots. So you got to cut it down to 25. And then so out of your 25, you got to protect 18 or something like that. So obviously they can't take them, but the 7 that aren't protected, they can draft those guys.
Yeah.
They would be taken from your team. So it would be cool to like implement it. Obviously that won't be for a few more years once we get some years and seasons under our belt, but it's just a cool thing I like to think about, and it's a possibility.
Yeah, and what I like about us doing a Dynasty League right now is we just started this podcast along with just starting this Dynasty League. So really anybody who's listening and continues to listen, we're going to grow through the years, and hopefully we'll grow into loving Dynasty as much as I hear everybody else loving it. And
as I see it right now, Tyler, as I see it right now, I'm already like full-blown Dynasty. Like I haven't touched a redraft, mock draft since 2 weeks ago when we did it? Or
yeah.
Was it? Whenever it was, like I literally haven't done one since the last podcast.
In our Dynasty League, so just to give people an idea, we're going to kind of break down. We have a Google Doc that Jordan made. He's the co-commissioner with us. He came up with this Google Doc that has all the rules in it, and it's such a good idea to break down the rules that shows it to everybody in the league. That way, if anybody has a question, it has everything from roster sizes to players or teams leaving.
Everything, collusion, trades, literally everything. And then it's like it's numbered and it's in order. You can click on it and it takes you right to where you're looking at.
Yeah,
like what you're looking for, and it's all right there.
It's your Dynasty like commandments of what you go by, and so
Constitution, brother, Constitution.
Yes. So we have that implemented. We also did a really cool thing with the draft picks. So I've never done this before. We went through the BetterFantasyDraft.com. And what you get to do is each player picks what their draft is. From 1 to 10, you kind of shift those picks around to what
in
pick
order
you
what
want,
you want,
all the way down to what you don't want. And it kind of has a formula in place. So when you hit go, it coin flips if you have the same, or if you don't, it gives you that pick. So there was a ton of people in our league that wanted like 1, 2, 3. So it did the coin flip for 1. That person got 1, and then it went all the way down the line. And then people like Ryan, people like me, he picked the 10 as his number 1 pick, and it just gave it to him because nobody else wanted the 10.
Yeah, no one else picked the 10. I picked the 10. I didn't want to get into the the dogfight down there for the top 4 picks, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to go get my 10th pick and be prepared for it. So
yeah, and in our dynasty, the 10th, as we get into, and I guess I can do it right now. So how we're going to do the drafting is that we have unlimited, since we know all the guys and we have contact with all the guys, having unlimited time to make your picks starting in a week from today. Ryan will be able to make both his picks like back to back. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, having the 10th round pick, you can just make your 2 picks, and then you just sit and wait.
I'll just like chill, whether it takes a day or 3 hours, whatever it is. But my 2 picks will be in fairly quick, and then you guys can move on from there. But yeah, I don't have to wait super long in between picks. I'll get my, I can kind of plan better. Like that's why I wanted either the 1st or the 2nd or the 9 or 10, because you can kind of plan on what you're gonna do. Like if you're in the middle, you don't know who's gonna be there when you go, so it takes a little bit more dedication and strategy and stuff like that. So I can have 2 guys, like I can have a list of 5 guys there, and when it's my turn, if 2 got taken, I got 3 to choose from, and I only need 2 of them. Yeah, so it's just quickly done. So I like the 10 spot. I know there's more pressure there for me to draft well, but I guess you can look at it as maybe expectations won't be so high because I won't have that elite player. So whatever, if I have a little bust the first year, I can blame it on that.
Yeah. So that like,
and I'm in the Joe's division, so come on, it's all good.
Yeah. Even though you've probably played more than everybody, dynasty wise, you're in the Joes.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was on betterfantasydraft.com where the pick order, and we're going to be doing our draft on the Sleeper app. And the Sleeper app is a great app for Dynasty because it's made for the mobile. And I look forward to doing our draft on the Sleeper app. Already looking through the players, looking through how it's set up. It just looks clean and easy to read, and I like that. The user interface is very nice. I've never done one on the Sleeper app before, but I think this is going to be a great experience. I already like it. What do you think about the Sleeper app? I mean, we've been using it for a while for news, but to do a draft on it?
I like it. Like, I want to leave the league here. So to everyone out there listening, we're actually drafting on Sleeper and then converting the league to Yahoo, just because Sleeper allows for the 8 or like no time limit on picks, or you can do 8 hours or whatever you want. So it kind of like helps everyone draft without having 2-minute clock on it for all that pressure, and then you misclick, or not misclick, but get flustered and make the pick that you don't want, and you're stuck with them for 10 years of a dynasty league. So this way you kind of don't have any pressure on when you pick, so no one should have any excuse that they drafted the wrong guy or anything like that. So it kind of helps in that way. And honestly, all the research I've been doing is Sleeper is probably it's definitely a top 3 for a dynasty league. So part of me wants to keep it on here, but I think we're gonna go with the Yahoo and then maybe convert it back to Sleeper next year. We'll see about that, but it looks pretty nice though.
Or if a future league, if we start up another second dynasty league, we keep it on Sleeper. Dynasty. So then going into our next point for trading picks and season long. So we have it where we can trade the picks for the redraft along with 2 years in advance. And that's throughout every year. You always have your 2 years in advance picks to trade. So that keeps it very interesting to where you have to keep an eye on college players. You need to keep an eye on prospects. Is next year going to be a great year for rookies? Or is it worth sending away a 1st or 2nd round pick to kind of bump yourself up in the main draft, or bump yourself up with a player on your roster? I don't know.
We already got breaking news, Tyler. Me and, well, it's not confirmed yet, but me and Jordan might be on our way to making a deal already.
Oh, jeez.
The groundwork of the trade is his 4th overall pick for my 10th overall pick, and I will be giving him a 2nd round pick in the rookie draft next year. Okay. It's possible that it might go through, but as of now, we're kind of holding off, but it looks like might be on its way to be completed.
Okay, I like that. And I mean, I'm going to say it now, unfortunately, with me wanting to do trades in this draft that we're about to do, I feel like picks in this draft are way, way more important than picks in the future draft.
See, you might be speaking as of a noob, though. We don't know that, but you never know. I did hear this, though. I heard that next year's draft is going to be great for position players. So those picks are actually worth a little more. Maybe that's why Jordan's trying to get that from me.
Yeah. I mean, he already told us that he was looking for in his other draft.
That he wants as many draft picks for next year as possible.
Yeah. So I can't wait to have more episodes involving Dynasty Future. I mean, once we're in this league, we're going to be doing so much research that we'll be able to let the viewers know what we come up with, what players we're looking at, rookies. I mean, I haven't looked into rookies in a long time, so it's going to be exciting to keep an eye on those. And that moves us to our next point here. What are our thoughts going into this draft? Going into a Dynasty redraft compared to our standard redraft. What do you think is going to go through your head, Ryan, when you're on the clock at the 10 spot on a Dynasty league compared to on the clock on a standard league? Are you changing your
yeah, it does change. It does change. Here's a perfect example. So in the redraft at the 10 spot, I would definitely take in 2 receivers there, probably like Michael Thomas, Julio Jones. In the Dynasty, I'm not taking Michael Thomas. I'm not taking Julio Jones. Why? Because Michael Thomas his uncertainty without Drew Brees next year. And then Julio Jones is already 30, 31 years old. So you got about at least 2 more years of elite production, and then he falls off. So I think instead of the redraft way, I would go with maybe like a Mike Evans, Juju.
Yeah.
Instead, because they're younger guys. They're still wide receiver ones. And they still, I mean, Juju has crazy potential. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. I mean, he can blow up. But I just feel like they're safer picks. They're 25 and 22 years old instead of 30 and what? I mean, Michael Thomas is still young, but like I said, his quarterback situation after next year is a little shaky. So that kind of scares me.
Yeah, and a point to that is you have to look further than just the player. I feel like in a standard redraft league, you're looking at the player and how he's going to do that year. When you're in a Dynasty, you look at that same player, but then you look at the quarterback. You look at the offense. You look at what their future is going to be down the line. And I think that is awesome because you could be looking at a Juju, super young, and you're like, well, how long does Big Ben have in the league? And you start asking those questions when really
I'm
redraft.
Guessing 3 years. That's my estimate.
Yeah.
So I'll have him as an elite player for 3 years, but then he's 25 years old when Ben leaves. So he's like literally just hitting his prime.
And
so I feel like no matter what quarterback comes in, he'll still be productive. That's my thought on it.
So yeah, those are the questions you're asking going into a Dynasty league, and I like that more thought you have to put into it. You have to do more critical thinking when it comes to drafting in a Dynasty league.
Yeah, so, and if you really want to get into it, you kind of want to look at what's their contract looking like.
Yes.
What's their 3-year output looking like? Is their quarterback going to be leaving? How is their offense going to be changing potentially? Their contract is like the biggest thing because if they're a free agent, they hit the market and then the highest team bids on them that gets them, and he could go to a terrible situation. A perfect example is like Greg Jennings back when he was on the Packers and he left and went to the Vikings and was absolute trash. You know what I mean? Like that's a perfect example right there. So like you got to kind of keep an eye on that stuff.
And when you're also drafting in a Dynasty, I think you do tiers, but you just make your tiers differently. You can't take a standard tier list of players and then just implement it into your Dynasty. I think you have to look at a Dynasty ranking sheet and then make your own tiers off of that sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Get the skeleton and then kind of make your own adjustments. Tyler, I got a question for you. So you know how crazy I am with the redrafts and how like wild I can be and like no repercussions on my trades and stuff like that. Obviously, I win a lot, but I also lose some.
Yeah.
Now, do I take that strategy and just bring that to Dynasty, or do I be more conservative? Like it's literally what's going through my head. Like I'm not sure how to play it.
Well, and I think too, like your strategy going hard with trades and trying to make a all-star team, it does not change when it goes to a Dynasty league. The only thing that changes is the people that you're going for. So with Dynasty, you have such a large, like I was talking about critical thinking. You have such a large group of players that you could go for and like ways you can build your team that there's no reason to stop trading for a better team. So if you wanted to go for...
I just don't want to, go for all them trades. And what if I go on a streak where I lose 3 in a row? How is that going to affect me in Dynasty? Like redraft, I still have, I can still be like reckless and, because I know that next year I'm redrafting. So if I completely bomb this, it's all right. I'll get a restart next year. That's the thing in Dynasty. If I lose 3 in a row, how big of a hole is that going to put me in? So that's just going to put me on more full tilt, and it could snowball. That's the only thing. Like I'm confident in my skills. It's just an example.
Yeah, and that's true. If you make a few bad trades, and all of a sudden your players either end up injured or you took a chance on a player that is now a second, third string, and you had him as a first string, all of a sudden your team slowly starts losing value, and it gets harder and harder for you to try and trade back up to what you had before. So I see where you could snowball into a worse team making like 3 bad trades in a row. And you're going to have to dig yourself out of a hole.
It's my first year doing it. Maybe there could be a little bit added pressure, and it could affect how I think about trades and stuff like that. So I don't know. I am very interested to see how this goes. Trust me, I'm confident as hell. I actually think I'm going to be a little bit risky in the draft. And we're going to go from there. And if I don't fully contend the first year, I'm literally content with it, because it is Dynasty. You want to build your team for the long haul. So I'll trust myself with that. And if I'm in contention, I'll go for it. Maybe I'll swing a couple deals at the deadline to get stronger. If I'm not, I'll probably be trading off, 29 or higher year old veterans and try to get some rookie picks along with young players. So
agreed. And I got one last question then before we jump into our Dynasty mock draft, where we're going to be drafting come next week. But the last question is, are you in a mindset? I hear a lot of people ask the question, are you in a mindset of a win now or win later type of mindset? Because what I'm talking about is win now as in going for those players that are in their prime / just past their prime.
Like Julio in the second early type thing. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You go for a Julio, kind of injury risk,
instead of a Mike older. Evans. Like, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, exactly. You can get a Julio in a normal standard draft. Julio's going like 5-6 spots before Mike Evans, but in a dynasty draft, let's say they're right next to each other.
Evans I think might be ranked a little higher by a couple spots.
So, are you going in with that mindset, or do you have something else where you kind of are going to go with the flow and just kind of draft as you're drafting? Is it going to change as you're drafting? Are you going to like transfer to one or the other?
See, I feel like you got to determine that strategy before you draft. If you're 1 through 4, you're going to get one of those elite running backs. Like, I instantly think you're in win now mode. Now, with me, like I said, me at the 10, I'm going to try to compete. I'm going to draft to compete, but I'm also going to, anytime I see a tie in players that I like, I'm looking at age. Whoever's younger, I'm going with them, and that's that. There's no questions about it. So, like, I'm here to win, but I'm also literally focusing very hard on the future. I just want to see how that goes for me. Obviously, I don't know if it's the right strategy, but right now, that's the strategy I'm going to be going with a week from now.
So pretty much, if you are up with like 3 players that you want at your draft spot, you're kind of just going with risk mitigation with injury, and then you're going to break it down with contract and age, and then pretty much just grab the best player. And you don't have to even look at an ADP. You can just go off of what you want and where you think a guy should go. I mean, a lot of people, they stick to a sheet and they're like, oh man, I have to draft Devontae Adams here. You don't have to draft him. You could look at a Juju and say, oh man, he's 22 years old, 23 years old. You could draft Juju over Adams all day if you really wanted to. I mean,
you could have him for 10 years.
Exactly. So that's kind of the example of win now and maybe have a couple good seasons, and then you look at their quarterback play. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So I wanted to break away real quick. Anyone that has made it this far, I want to talk about an Excel sheet that I'm putting together, and I will be posting a rough draft in our show notes. I've come up with, I've taken about 6 experts along with myself and Ryan and created a Dynasty Excel sheet, and it has the ranking. It has, I think it has close to 300 players on it. It shows their buy, it shows their age, best and worst where they've been drafted, and their average. And then what in the future I want to add to this Excel sheet to help everybody out, and possibly in the future, is I want to put in their average draft position next to each player. I want to put their contract next to each player. I want to put their QB age, injury risk, rating 1 through 5, and the offense that they're on, rating 1 through 5. And we're going to continue. So basically, you're throwing out all the information anyone needs right there. They don't have to do any extra research. Exactly. So if you have this Excel sheet in front of you while you're drafting, and all you are is just writing, like Xing out players as they're being drafted, you have everything you need right here. You can look at 2 players and be like, oh man, do I draft Juju or do I draft Michael Thomas here? And then you scroll to the side and you see, oh, okay, contract, this is what their contracts are. This is what their injury risk is, no injury risk. And then you have offense. How good is their offense? How good is their quarterback going to be? So having this in front of you, and anyone in our league that's listening to us or has gotten to this point is able to use this. So I'm going to put it in the show notes. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you just print it off, and it's going to continue to grow. So as we do each episode, check back in. I probably edited in a whole nother column. So that's all I wanted to say for that, and then we can jump right into our Dynasty mock draft. So Ryan's in the head of this one. We have our buddy in who's pick 2. So hopefully he's ready to go. So we got Frank at the 2, me at the 7, and Ryan at the 10. Dynasty mock draft. So this will be interesting to see where people are kind of falling, kind of going for. And you can start it up, Ryan. We should.
I just want to recap real quick. It's 10 teams. It is 29 rounds. I know it's an odd number. It's only because of Yahoo's limitations. So what we're going to do, it's 29 rounds. You draft all 29, but before week 1 of the season, you have to get your roster down to 25, or else you have an incomplete team, and there'll be forfeitures and all that kind of stuff. So you got to make your cuts just like any NFL team that out of preseason. So I think that's pretty cool. So we will draft our guys, but 4 of these guys will not be on our team come the start of the season. So that's just a note.
It's exciting.
All right, I'm hit begin, and let's just hope this goes pretty smooth and it doesn't mess up.
So
all right,
obviously,
Barkley off the board at 1.
I mean, he's the clear 101, literally every
in my
league,
opinion.
I'm pretty sure.
In my opinion, yeah.
And then you got Frank who went CMC, and then you have Hopkins at the 3. Wow, that's a surprising pick. And then Zeke, Odell.
You think it's so surprising? I don't. I don't think it's that surprising. I don't mind that pick at all. I'm really kind of mad about Odell at 5 because I really wanted him, but I already knew I wasn't going to get him.
And I'm surprised Odell went 5 also, because on my list I was looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I guess it makes sense.
He's all over the board in Dynasty rankings. I've seen him as far as 14, and I've seen him as high as 2. So 2's a little high. I don't think you can take him at 2, but whatever. It's each their own.
So I picked Devontae Adams at 7.
Oh, my God.
It's such a hard choice because I wanted to go between – it's Adams, Thomas, or Smith. So,
well, that sucks because Juju just went before me, and that was my main target. So if this happens in the draft, this is going to force me to go a different direction here.
I can see you go – you have a running back up on the board right now that
you
talked highly of.
So that is what's going to happen here.
So we're looking at the picks Ryan's looking at is Joe Mixon, Mike Evans, Melvin Gordon, and Julio Jones.
We're going to draft Melvin Gordon, and that is because they're talking contract extension. There's literally no one behind him to take any work from him. And here's a pick that people may not agree with, but I've literally ran in this situation doing mock drafts before, and I said if this happens, I'm going to do it.
Oh, you're on double running back?
Yeah, David Johnson.
Oh, you went David Johnson. Then Mike Evans. And then Joe Mixon went one before me.
I literally – David Johnson, to me, I feel like he's top 5. He will finish as a top 5 running back this year. That offense looks nice. They want to keep it up-tempo. They got all the guys in place to do so. So David Johnson, as long as he doesn't get hurt, has big potential.
So it was a hard pick by me. Joe Mixon went right before me. I would have taken – probably Mixon over, I would have definitely taken Mixon over Dalvin Cook. So I took Dalvin Cook at the my second pick, and we have a ton of people going off the board. My goodness.
All right, let's relax here. Let's see. So you teamed up Adams and Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
Look at that. The number 5 team there took Odell and Julio. That's a great start. They're in win now mode instantly.
Yep. And then they took George Kittle for the 3rd.
Yep. And then our boy Frankie, he started with McCaffrey, got Antonio Brown in the 2nd, and then James Conner falls to the 3rd.
That James Conner.
Surprised he took Conner because I remember talking to him. I thought he was going to take Le'Veon Bell, which went a pick after him. So
I would have taken Conner right there. I'm a early
it's
3rd.
A coin flip.
I'm a big man, and this is a hard pick for me. So I'm just gonna break this down. I'm looking at I got Kenny Galladay, I got Thielen, and I got Kerryon Johnson. And I'm thinking I have 6 picks after me. A lot of these guys are gonna go, but I think I have to draft Kerryon Johnson here. Young running back. I mean, besides the injury risk, I see him probably getting a lot of work in the passing, a lot of work just in the Lions' key point in general. So hopefully one of those wide receivers make it back around to me, and that gives me Adams, Cooks, and Johnson.
All right, Tyler, it's on me here. I kind of am leaning towards Adam Thielen right now, but it's not a flashy pick.
I would take Thielen 100% right here.
So the thing is, I think I'm gonna go. I have to get a receiver here. Adam Thielen. Now
Yep.
I can go anywhere right here. I'm leaning towards Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs. Now that's a tough one for me.
Okay, you're kind
Aaron
of doing
Jones
the running back heavy.
Yeah, no, that's the way it had to go here because my guys went. If Juju was there, I was definitely going Juju Evans, but it didn't happen. So Melvin Gordon and David Johnson is pretty nice.
Yep.
I would love to have DJ Moore here, honestly, but that is not a win now move because he's a big question mark. So I'm kind of in a pickle. I think I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. I like his upside. I think he's the one getting most of the touches there. And you got to think here, well, I'll have 2 running backs. I also have 2 flexes, so those both could be running backs. So that leaves me open for even next round. If there's a great running back there with potential, I can take him too.
Yeah. So then that Aaron Jones went right after Josh Jacobs. So there's 2 people you were thinking about. AJ Green. So there you go. There's an older injury. Well, what is AJ Green's age?
31. I think.
Is he?
So pretty old, yeah.
So looking at the pick here, I think I'm gonna go wide receiver. There's a guy up there. It's between DJ Moore and Robert Woods for me. I think DJ Moore is just kind of my pick here. Yeah, I'm gonna pick DJ Moore. So I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I have pick. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs.
So what's your DJ Moore over T.Y. Hilton? What's your thoughts?
T.Y. Hilton, I mean, I want the younger. DJ Moore's 22. T.Y. Hilton at 29. You know, T.Y. Hilton's going to be the better guy, but I have a feeling they're going to have similar. That's
not a guarantee. Seasons. I actually like your pick, and I would have did the same, even though I'm a big T.Y. Hilton fan. I think DJ Moore is like a way younger T.Y. Hilton, and he's only going to get better.
Exactly. And Cam's coming back, and DJ Moore had flashes last year. So
yep.
Look at Frankie G taking the Andrew Luck in the
Tyreek in the 5th. What a good pick.
Oh, man.
Good pick. I was going to take him at this 5'10 here.
Okay, so now I'm looking at do I take the Calvin Ridley that's going to we got Mike Williams, Derrick Henry.
Look at that. You compare Calvin Ridley and DJ Moore to have receivers for days.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you'll have them for years.
Worry about it. Same with Mike Williams, though.
Adams,
I think Mike Williams is even a better pick than, oh my goodness, Calvin Ridley. Okay, I'm taking
good
Calvin
players
Ridley.
On the board here.
I took Calvin Ridley. Give
Mike
me a young
Williams
guy.
And Derrick Henry were my next 2 picks. Williams and Henry were my 2 picks, and they got taken. So that's going to leave me. I need receivers here. Jarvis Landry is 26. He's a target hog. I mean, some targets are obviously going to be taken away. I need a receiver here. I get 2 PPR guys in Adam Thielen and Jarvis Landry. On my next pick,
that's your guy.
I can literally go anywhere with this pick. So
yeah, so you're looking at there's 2 quarterbacks up there as ADP would say.
I'm going away from quarterbacks here. I don't need them right here.
Man, ADP
my sneaky pick right here is Evan Ingram. I just feel like the targets are going to be plentiful.
Yeah, it's
but
possible.
There's big news on David Montgomery as well.
I mean, N'Keal Harry too. I'm just
a little worried
I wonder what the news is on N'Keal Harry.
He's a good player, going to be good. But how long does Tom Brady have, and who's the next QB? I don't know. It's a little scary.
I know what my pick's going to be. I already see him, so I'm excited. I'm looking at
I need another receiver, but none of these guys are worthy for me, and I don't want to reach too far. So I'm going to go with. We're gonna go David Montgomery.
No, that's my pick, dude.
I'm sorry. Hey, they compared him. Hey, he compared him to Kareem Hunt, and that was his offensive coordinator when he was at the Chiefs. So I don't know, man. Oh my
goodness,
Montgomery has big upside.
I can't believe you snagged him from me.
Melvin Gordon, David Johnson, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery. My running backs are set for years to come. I do like that. My receivers are a little shaky. Not even shaky. I've got 2 solid receivers.
Okay, so I'm on the board. I'm looking at, man, I wanted David Montgomery really bad on that one. So making this pick, there's a few people that are still in my peripherals. I think I'm gonna mix it up here. Normally, I would want to go Devontae Freeman just to have another good running back going into the season, but I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield. I'm just gonna set up my QB.
Going with the young gun. And you'll have him for 10+ years. So
and let me say, if coming into Dynasty, all of a sudden I get Odell at the 7, Baker Mayfield back down in this position is going to be tasty.
Great, nice little combo you'll have going
pair
there.
Them up. My goodness. So, Baker Mayfield was my pick.
Damian Williams falls all the way to 7.2.
Oh my god! I didn't even see him.
That's a steal in Dynasty.
It's a chance.
He ain't gonna make it there in the league. He's not gonna make it there.
No, and
dude, what a team Frank has together right now.
And I wanted to. This is good. This is kind of showing you in Dynasty when you're doing these mock drafts. You see what players fall because everyone's following the ADP and they're like, oh, okay, these players. Really, if you look like almost a page down, you can find some people down there that are steals, and people aren't even looking there.
Oh, for sure. There's steals all over the board.
All right, so
that was a huge steal. Damian Williams, a redraft second-round guaranteed pick in Dynasty, goes 7-2.
Oh,
literally, if Damian Williams busts at that pick, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It was a free pick for a second-round redraft league. Okay, so I am on the board. I'm looking at Tariq Cohen and Miles Sanders for running backs.
Let me know when you're ready to draft because you literally have like 3 seconds, I think. I paused it for you.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to go with you can start it.
All right. You on it?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so I drafted Miles Sanders.
Come on. That was my pick.
I'm taking the young guys, and I have a really young team. My goodness, my team is young. My oldest guy is Devontae Adams at my first pick.
And he's not even that old. What, 26?
Yeah, 26.
All right, on me. I do need a receiver here. I do not like Tyler Boyd. I will not draft him. I don't think he's good.
Okay. He could be the future, though.
Could be. I'm not going
we've seen Tyler Boyd on a team without AJ Green, and he's better with AJ Green. So that just shows you.
I need receivers. I'm going to get some more of that air raid offense in Arizona. Christian Kirk is on the team. I got the two best offensive weapons, and if the hype becomes real, I'll have a pretty dynamic team.
Yeah, especially when Fitz retires this next year.
Yep.
Kirk is going to be a stud.
All right. Now, here is I could use a tight end. David Njoku will be there for years to come. I think I can wait on that. I'm going to take the gamble. What are we in? 8th round. Kareem Hunt has showed me a lot. I'm going to take him, hoping that he comes back and splits the load.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I was looking at Kareem Hunt also, but it was just a little too far down for what I wanted to pick. It's nice.
I can wait on Kareem Hunt too because he's my 5th running back, so he doesn't have to play at all this year.
Throw him on the bench, see what happens next year, and you could have a solid running back one. So I'm looking at
a little bit of a gamble, a little bit, but I think in 8th round it's all right.
Getting running backs is kind of key. I'm looking at Mark Ingram, Kenyon Drake, also a very good running back.
Royce Freeman right here wouldn't be terrible either.
Yeah, Royce Freeman. But I'm also looking at Dante Pettis, though. He's such a solid young wide receiver. I mean,
a lot of people like him.
So young right now. But I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take Dante Pettis. I think he has huge upside, and it kind of we have those 2 flex options in our league. So being able to put a wide receiver in that flex option, see Kenyon Drake.
This damn Frank guy is just stacking his team. This dude's team is stacked.
I wanted to take Kenyon. I wanted to.
Shit!
It fell all the way down to him. So 5 picks past me. He got Kenyon Drake. DK Metcalf just went in the 9th round. And
took Marquise Hollywood Brown as his wide receiver 3.
The Hollywood Brown. Okay, so Frank has 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a QB, and a tight end. Okay, so I'm looking at A.J. Brown, T.J. Hawkinson.
Hey, don't mention that name.
T.J. Hawkinson? Oh, baby. Maybe I'll pick up a Hawk.
If you don't take him, he's on my squad unless the computer snipes me.
You want to know what? Ooh, man. Darrell Henderson just seems like such an interesting pick going into future years if the Rams continue to. Oh, man, it's such a hard pick here. I also am looking at James White for that PPR. Anyone goes down.
That's good that you said that because right now, if I went my strategy and went receivers, James White would be on my team with this 9-10 with the 9-10 pick.
Yeah, and I'm going to take him because I think James White's still going to be a solid pick for a PPR. And let's say somebody goes down and I have him on my bench, I can just throw him in and he's an RB1. So, of course, Ryan Ryan did not waste any time picking up T.J. Hawkinson and
T.J.
Kyler
Hawkinson,
Murray.
that's my boy. Kyler Murray, another. Hey, I got the whole Arizona.
stack.
I'm going deep with Arizona. I got all 3 of their studs.
You guys
Kyler
are
Murray,
rebuild
Christian
mode
Kirk,
together.
David Johnson. I'm ready to go.
You guys are in the dual rebuild mode, I see. All right, I'm looking at.
I'm going with the potential that they could bring.
Oh man, you want to know what? Just since he fell to me, I'm gonna take Darrell Henderson and kind of stack up on them younger running backs.
That was my choice. Mine was between Murray and Henderson right there, and I needed a quarterback. So,
all right, let's see Frank the stud.
Let's see what Frank adds. I feel like he needs a receiver here, and Paris Campbell's a perfect pick. Oh my God, that's a perfect pick. Literally, that's who I was gonna take him right there over Kyler Murray, but I knew Murray wouldn't come back to me. So, great pick. Frank's over here just dominating the draft.
So you learn from these.
Jordan
picks
Howard a little shaky, but at 11-2, that's a great pick.
Yeah, you got a starter.
You could take that backfield and run away with it. So,
all right. So I'm looking at. I mean, now that I look back, I mean, Jameis Winston would be interesting here if I didn't have Baker Mayfield. It's it's quite interesting looking at the quarterback situation, who's dropping in these average draft position mock drafts. But I see a guy up here that I kind of want to take a shot on. I'm going to go with Jarrett McKinnon. I mean, he was going in the 3rd round about 2 years ago.
Second
and
third,
he got that huge contract, injured. But if he comes back, and I was able to sit on him, he could be a starting running back. So, yeah.
Now, right here, I need some wide receiver help. There's D.D. Westbrook, James Washington. Julian Edelman is still there. He's got at least 2 more years. I'm going to take him, instantly jumping in he'll be my wide receiver 3 or flex. He helps me out if Christian Kirk isn't what I thought he would be. So Landry, Adam Thielen, and Edelman would be my 3 receivers, PPR guys. I like it.
And what an interesting thing that you're doing where you build your wide receiver core. So that would even be interesting on my team where I have a wide receiver core of like Calvin Ridley next year. I don't think he's going to be anything too special. What if I was able to get a Julian Edelman in the 11th, 12th round? He would instantly be better than Ridley, but he's picked 5 rounds after Ridley. So it just shows you in Dynasty, you find these wide receivers like Julian Edelman, who's going to have a solid season. That's a win now move while you are doing a win later strategy early on.
Yep. So I think Julian Edelman kind of like, he's a veteran leadership on my team. Everyone needs that. And at the 11th round, like even if he retires, say 2 years from now, I'm content with it. It's worth it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So I secured a backup quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He's my backup. So Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, I'm kind of going with the youth movement at quarterback. One of these guys should pan out and be pretty damn good. So I'm kind of putting my chips there.
Okay. I made an interesting choice at wide receiver. I kind of did a similar move with Golden Tate in the 12th round, with the possibility of him being a huge PPR guy in New York. He could also jump all the way up to my wide receiver 2, 3, or even a flex. So
Frank's getting in on that air raid offense. Andy Isabella.
Oh,
going to Frank and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, dude.
MVS,
Frank
dude.
set up for, he's winning the chip this year, and he says he's going for back-to-back-to-back. He wants it all. He's got to be happy. He's got to be happy with his team. Let's just hope when it comes draft time, he completely falls apart.
Yeah, you can see him in the chat saying, let's go.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Jeez.
looking at the board, I'm trying to pick out probably a running back here. I know that tight end, now that I look at it, tight ends
running back here's tough, man.
I know. Here's tough. I think that I'm going to
Edo Smith. Oh, Latavius Murray's still there. Deion Lewis.
I like Austin Eckler too.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take Austin Eckler.
I need Eckler, man. Come on. I was gonna take him because I got Gordon. All right. So you want to go that way?
Oh God!
Take your handcuff. You got Mark Ingram?
What? No.
You have Mark Ingram?
No.
Oh, damn it. All right. Well, I'm taking Justice Hill.
I got Dalvin Cook, my man.
All right. Justice Hill is on the team now. Now I can kind of go anywhere here. I'm gonna go see what we got for tight ends because I need to back up my boy Hawkinson just in case he kind of falls apart.
And something I want to note here is Traquan Smith's on the board, but one thing that was going through my head when I look at Traquan Smith is how young Michael Thomas still is. That what you see in the offense this last year is kind of what you're going to have in future years, and then also Drew Brees is going to be retiring. Traquan Smith almost falls to a worse wide receiver than what you see up on the board right now.
Yeah, so, I don't think there's much value in Traquan, honestly.
So
even in the future.
I see a lot of tight ends that will probably fall to me, so I'm going to continue to. Oh my goodness!
We're in the same boat trying to find that backup tight end. Okay.
I don't even have a starting tight end.
Ooh.
I've been running with just getting wide. I got a quarterback, and then I got all wide receivers and running backs right now.
Frank's over here just stacked. He could be like, "I'll trade you my tight end."
Yeah, Frank's trying to.
What do you want?
Oh my goodness. I'm just going down the draft board, seeing kind of who's there, who I would be taking later on.
Take Gronk. You never know. Come back.
Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, he's the best. I had Gronk last year, and it was like the worst decision I've ever done.
It was, and you got him in the 3rd round.
Okay, so it's going to be kind of an interesting
7
pick.
seconds.
I'm going to take Dion.
Dion, trying to get someone steady.
Yeah, so just in case somebody doesn't pan out, I did go Dalvin Cook, Kerryon Johnson.
Look at the computer took Rob Gronkowski right before Frank. The computer was listening to me.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, maybe you know something that. Frank, what are you doing taking a second tight end, dude?
I told you. Frank was gonna pull something.
I was gonna take Jared Cook too. I was on his name.
I believe it.
He'll fall to me.
Chris Thompson, the wide receiver.
I am sweating. You want to know what? Let's just go. Just give me Mark Andrews.
That was my next pick. I'm serious. I was taking him.
My goodness.
Vance McDonald is still there, so he is a good pick for me to shore up my tight ends.
I'd be curious what Vance's age is. Let me look it up while you're
29.
29.
So
yep, he's 29.
Damn. Now that I saw 29, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah,
we're gonna go with another young guy here. I want to secure him.
Frank drafted Chris Thompson thinking he was probably the running back.
No. I'm going Alexander Madison back up to Dalvin Cook. I think it's a good pick.
I needed that. That was my next pick.
And now
Dalvin Cook.
I'm back on the board. Let's see here. We're all over the board, boys. This is why we mock draft.
Yes.
To be prepared.
When you get down to like the 16th pick plus, I mean, you're just scrolling down, seeing who's kind of left. You're picking your guys.
Go for more running back depth. And I'm going to take.
So for this mock draft, Ryan, should we just go to the 20th? Should we just go to round 20 and then call it a day? Because there's gonna be times where we get past 20 and we're kind of just checking off our list that we have.
We gotta play it out, and then we gotta play it out. It's a mock draft, my friend. Well, I mean, obviously these picks coming up should go a little quicker.
Okay. So looking at my team, I just drafted a tight end. I'm looking very heavy in the running back. Got a good set of wide receivers. Like Ryan said, Vance McDonald is interesting, but
he is.
Picking him at his age, I mean, I could pick him since I have Mark Andrews, and just one of them has to pan out. So I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take back-to-back tight ends here, Andrews and McDonald, and we'll see. One of them's gonna be my starter.
Coin flip.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Frank on the clock. Let's see what this guy's going to do.
He went Josh
Allen. Going with more youth. It is a good pick. Who's his quarterback? Andrew Luck, and he's got Josh Allen to back him up. I like it.
And, I mean, looking at the draft board, here's where you find, what were you in, 16, 17? A lot of the older quarterbacks are up on the list.
Mm-hmm. Which I do want to secure one in the next coming rounds just because I have two very young guys. Look at Fitzgerald added to Frank's Dynasty.
Larry Fitz.
The 17th round, Larry Fitzgerald.
As a 1. I mean, I'm going to draft Tyrell Williams. Got that huge contract.
Okay.
Let's see how he does behind Brown.
I'm going to take Irv Smith Jr. of the Vikings. They drafted him pretty high in the 2nd round. I know they want to use him.
You have Emmanuel Sanders. The news just came out for Sanders that
we don't want no E-man.
He's possibly coming back week 1. Could
He
be
can
a win
come back
now
all
type of
he
guy.
wants.
Oh my goodness, I see 2 picks I want. Man, I should.
All right, who you want? Who you want? All right, I need a little bit of wide receiver help here.
Okay.
Devontae Parker is only 26 years old. He is due for a good year. I'm gonna gamble.
Yes, you idiot. Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, so my 2 picks are between Deshaun Hamilton and Dante Moncrief. Dante Moncrief's been talked up in Pittsburgh.
Moncrief is there, yeah. That's...
Oh my goodness, I want to take Moncrief over Hamilton, but I feel like Hamilton is just such a good Emmanuel Sanders clone that he'll take his spot. I'm gonna take Hamilton. I think that the upside with having Hamilton there.
I just feel like
he's a PPR
Hamilton's
monster.
a better pick for you.
Even though I did want Dante
Jace
Moncrief.
Sternberger to Frank as the 3rd tight end.
Frank's going tight. It's gonna be so interesting watching our the people that we have in this league, how they draft,
how they build their roster.
Oh my goodness! So we're kind of just gonna be
we're at the 19th round, so 10 more left.
Yeah, 10 more players. I mean, Geronimo Allison sitting at the top there. He's what do you think of Geronimo?
Jordan Wilkins? Okay, Geronimo's not a bad pick, and he just went.
There's John Ross, the fastest guy to come out of the combine.
Terrible.
Yeah. So I'm looking at. I could take Dwayne Haskins to pair him up with. You wanna know what? It's me. It's hard, but I'm gonna take him. I'm taking Dwayne Haskins. Let's go. That's a good pick because I'm like,
my guys.
I got
all right.
Baker.
Whatever. You can have him.
And Dwayne Haskins.
Take the steal of the draft, boys. Jalen Hurd to the squad.
The steal of the draft. Look at Ryan.
Yep, you heard it here.
He's gonna.
All right, I need to do something with my quarterbacks just in case something doesn't happen. I think Derek Carr, he's going to be throwing the ball all year. He's just a safety blanket at this point. We're going to take him.
Okay, Derek Carr, safety blanket. I'm going to go, let me get Zay Jones. Zay Jones popped off last year for a few games.
Yeah, he had some good games.
So it's possible that he gets integrated more into the offense. So I like Zay Jones there. We're looking at Frank the Tank. He took Jordan Wilkins last round.
I feel like he's going to go. Okay, I thought he was going to go high upside, but he went for the safe. I mean, not too safe, but that's his 3rd quarterback, so that's okay. I got 3.
What is Ian Thomas's age?
He's
23. Young. I'm picking him. I'm taking Ian Thomas if he drops.
He's a young feller.
It's good to have those young tight ends with possible upside.
Josh Dotson. He just never lived up to potential, but you never know. Ian Thomas, 1 pick before you. Oh, man.
Okay, well, let's just take Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds had a great season.
Equanimeous St. Brown off the board. That's what I was going to take. So we're going to go in a different direction here. We're going to go with, see if I can get something out of tight end here. I'm just throwing darts. Hayden Hurst. Hopefully he can come around.
Okay, so Josh Reynolds is 24. Very young. I didn't think he was... seems like he's older.
Another guy I would target right here if I went receiver heavy would be Gio Bernard, but I don't need to do that.
David Moore was an interesting guy, too. He was picked up on some leagues.
Yeah, no, I think David Moore from Seattle could be a decent guy to have. He got a lot of touchdowns last year. I'm going to go with the guy that's out for the year. He was actually a great running back. I think he played at Stanford, and then he tore his ACL in the bowl game, which he shouldn't have played in because then he would have been a top – and he would have been drafted in the top 3 rounds. Bryce Love. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to stash him. I think he has opportunity over there. It's him and Darius Geis.
Who's David Johnson's handcuff?
There is none because he's the super bell cow. So
okay, so if he gets injured, who's stepping in for him?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna take Chase Edmonds as my pick.
Yeah. See, the thing is, even if DJ went down, Chase Edmonds is a no-show. He already proved that.
Yeah. We'll see. He's had some good games.
All right. I'm just trying to talk.
Adrian Peterson. Look at Frank the Tank. And then Riley Reed.
Riley Ridley. Never heard of him. Just kidding. I just
Ridley,
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Peterson. Frank's going for. He's just trying to get Peterson a ring. I get it.
Welcome to the team, Josh Gordon.
Ooh, going for Jay Go. All right. I'm going to go with
you know what? I'll take young guys.
Raquel Armstead. That is Fournette's backup. I think right now at 23rd round.
That's a
good
get a
pick. Potential RB2 if he goes down. So,
and even doing these mock drafts, like seeing people like that, I almost would highlight and just keep it as a highlight on your draft board or on your cheat sheet.
Sure.
Because nobody's really thinking that. And then as it gets to when you're thinking about Leonard Fournette, it's like, oh man, Leonard Fournette is excellent, but he's always injured. You get somebody that comes in there after Leonard Fournette and you get him in the 20-plus round, that's a steal. So I
feel like that pick was real good. I saw him there. I'm like, whoa, Armstead's still here. All right, I got to take him. All right, I'm going to take a guy here where this is funny. He came up in our chat. Tyler was making fun of him. That boy, Randall Cobb, baby. He's going to be there, and you never know. He could be in my starting lineup. There he said that he has a good connection with Dak Prescott out of camp. So
Okay.
He's taking over for Cole Beasley. You never know, man. He could be the PPR guy that everyone thought he would be in Green Bay.
So I'm looking at Gerald Everett. He's 25. Delaney Walker's there.
Oof, you don't want that.
Whew, yeah, no, I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I could take Daniel Jones and just have the youngest quarterback core in the league.
The hell that guy's good.
I mean, right now you're kind of in that spot where it's like, I hope that any of these guys are.
You got to look at it. This is the last round. No, never mind. Next round is another guaranteed. Every round after that, I mean, we're cutting 4 players, so.
Yeah. So
so we can draft through 25th round because that's honestly where those are the guys you'd be keeping anyway. So we're almost done.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to. Man, I really don't know what my pick is here. I'm just going to grab Taylor Gabriel. I have a lot of wide receivers. A lot of running back. Okay, so I'm looking pretty good. Two quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, and then I'm kind of even on running back, wide receiver. But these last picks have been a lot of wide receiver heavy. I need to maybe change that going into my next mock draft.
You went wide receiver heavy, you said?
At the end here. So
okay.
Maybe I need to. So this just shows me I need to do a little more research in regards to running backs in the later rounds, because I picked a lot of wide receivers here, good wide receivers, but I feel like maybe I could have snuck in a few of those running backs, kind of like Ryan's doing with Bryce Love and Armstead. Those would be nice people to have over like a Josh Gordon or a Taylor Gabriel. So, oh my goodness, look at that first pick guy. He went Elijah McGuire, Thompson, Barber, Dixon, Anderson. Running backs. He's going with running backs galore.
Yeah.
Okay, so Frank went with Dexter Williams.
From Green Bay. It's a good pick. I mean, he's going to make the team. He's going to be the 3rd running back. And Williams or Jones more than likely goes down, so he's going to get some work.
Ooh, good time to take Marshawn Lynch, right?
Maybe he'll pull his shoes off the post again. Never know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Gus Edwards? I mean, he had
I don't know, like he's usable. If you need a running back right now that's nothing flashy that can get you 8 to 15 points a game, or like 6 to 15 points a game, it's a shot in the dark. Like I feel like if you desperately need a running back, it's a guy that might give you numbers.
Okay, so now it's dropping to me. Running back, give me Williams.
Buck Allen's on the Saints.
Yeah, now's when you get the players. You're like, oh my god, what team is this guy on? Spencer Ware in Indy.
I'm gonna go with Divine Ozubuku or something. I don't know. It's the Saints running back. Hey, I'll take him. You never know. What if Kamara gets hurt? This dude's about to be the next Kamara.
Okay. I mean, who knows? Kamara that last time popped out of nowhere, and he's probably winning people leagues left and right when it comes to Dynasty.
Oh, I got another pick.
All right. Hey, don't forget. Here's
actually, no, we're done with the draft, remember? Because these last 4 rounds get cut, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so just stop draft there.
Yep, that's the end.
Okay, well, let's start off with Frank's team first. We'll go down the order. So, Ryan, read off Frank's team with his... I guess you could just start from the top and just work your way down.
Yeah, Frank, so he's going to roll out... Let's try to get this in order here. Frank's going to roll out with Andrew Luck as his quarterback. His 2 starting running backs are going to be McCaffrey, James Conner. His receivers are Antonio Brown, suspended Tyreek Hill, And then his third receiver is Marquise Brown, along with Paris Campbell. One of them two are going to be in there. But he also drafted Larry Fitzgerald late, so he can actually be his third receiver. So he would have McCaffrey, Connor, Luck, Brown, Hill, and Fitzgerald. His two flex, I'm assuming, are going to be, wow, Damian Williams and Kenyon Drake. All right, pretty good there, guy. Evan Ingram as his tight end. A lot of potential on his bench, a lot. So we don't even have to go there. This guy's got potential all over his bench. I like it. His starting lineup is very strong.
Okay. Going into my team here, I have a young Baker Mayfield as my QB1. Starting with my wide receivers, I got Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, and Dante Pettis. Any exchange of those young guys. Running backs, I got Dalvin Cook, Kerryon Johnson. And then going into my flex, I'm looking at I have Jarrett McKinnon, James White, Golden Tate, Miles Sanders. So I have a lot of options. And then my tight end is either going to be Mark Andrews or Vance McDonald. So I guess we'll see.
Vance McDonald will start for you, I feel.
Yeah.
And then Andrews could be the guy that breaks out of Titans camp or out of camp, and he could be pretty good.
So a very young team. I have a average probably of around 24.
The Ravens like Andrews, so he might be your guy.
All
my
right,
lineup. All right, my quarterback is going to be Kyler Murray. My two running backs, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson. I didn't expect to go this route, but I do like it. Sounds very nice. Adam Thielen, Jarvis Landry, and then I'm going to slot in Julian Edelman over Christian Kirk. I got Edelman 5 rounds later. Than Kirk, and he's going to start for now. That just opened the season. My flex will be Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, which is not terrible. I could flex instead of Montgomery because you never know how he's going to do. I could throw in Kirk right there, so that's not terrible at all. And my starting tight end is Hawkinson. I have Irv Smith Jr. and Hayden Hurst. I feel like I can get out of them three, one of them has to emerge. Like it just, don't you guys think, Tyler?
Yeah, you have a lot of
one of them young guys got to break out. I mean, Lamar Jackson, my backup quarterback, Justice Hill. He's kind of a pass catching running back from the Ravens. I don't know how much play he'll get, but he's on my bench. I got Alexander Madison, which is behind Dalvin Cook. Jamal Williams, who's behind Aaron Jones. Bryce Love, probably out for the year, but he has big potential. Raquel Armstead, he's behind Fournette. So I have a lot of backup running backs that could potentially bust out.
Okay. And so after this mock draft, I'm going to ask you this question on what is the biggest thing that you've learned on your first Dynasty mock draft with us. I know that my first thing that I've learned is that you got Julian Edelman in the 11th round, which is 5 rounds before your Christian Kirk, and he's going to be starting over Christian Kirk, and it gives you a good starting 3 along with having solid running backs. So I really like your team and how you built it, and it kind of sets off a light bulb in my head for looking at my very young team. So
you're literally like saying what I'm thinking over here. I'm like, do I do this strategy? Because I do like my team.
Looking at your team on paper, even going into a regular draft, is a pretty nice team. So. Yeah. I like it. I like, Julian Edelman just as that rental player that is possibly going to give you a
2-year rental possibly. But like even when he retires, and we have a compensation system in place, so if he finishes in the top 20 for that year and then retires, I'm going to get a compensation pick in the 2nd or 3rd round of the rookie draft. So I'll be able to replace him.
Interesting. So I like it. Any last thoughts for you on this Dynasty mock draft before we close it out?
So after seeing Edelman right there, I'm just wondering what I could have done right there instead of Christian Kirk.
Like who you could have drafted? Yeah, who's around him right now?
Maybe a safer guy in or a tight end that could have been more safe, like in Njoku. I don't know. Mark Ingram was there. I already had stacked running backs, I feel, so maybe not. I'm kind of looking at the receivers that went, and it was like Christian Kirk was still the right pick.
Yeah, and you stacked him with Kyler Murray. You could have that duel for a long time to come.
I mean, I could have the air raid offense there that is supposedly happening. You never know. There's a lot of potential with it. So, honestly, after looking to see who's around him, I would still go Kirk right there.
Yeah.
I second-guessed myself because, obviously, after the draft, you can go back and be like, shoulda, woulda, coulda. and I did that, and I still would have, which makes me feel pretty good about it.
Nice. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the MVP Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure that if you're listening on YouTube, that you subscribe and you like every video that we post here. We're going to keep going as they go up on Apple. Make sure that we get a follow, rate, subscribe. Anything from good to bad, just leave a comment letting us know how we're doing, what we could do to improve, what we possibly are doing well that you want us to do more of. I like these mock drafts, but I know that we're not going to do a mock draft every week. It's just that time of the year where it's in our head. We're about to do Dynasty, and it's going to be exciting because our Dynasty League starts next week, Monday, and we're going to be doing a podcast as it's going on. So we may have some breaking news as people are being picked. So that'll be exciting. Next week, I'm thinking that we're going to kind of do an overview of the beginning of our Dynasty draft, along with taking a Q&A, and it'll just be a great episode next week. So just follow, subscribe, comment. It all helps. If we have any ratings, we're going to make sure that we talk to state them over the podcast. So if you leave a comment, we're definitely going to mention it in the podcast. So appreciate everyone for stopping by, and I hope you had a great Dynasty lesson.